So if you weren't aware, there is currently a blue-collar shortage going on in the United States of America.
According to the Associated Builders and Contractors, the construction industry will need to attract more than 500,000 additional workers to keep up with demand.
The construction industry in America is facing an extreme labor shortage, which experts say is slowing the completion of construction projects.
In the next 5 years, if we don't get young blood into the industry, the cost of remodeling and construction could go up 30%.
The shortage of construction workers is linked primarily to two causes: the pandemic and shifts in American cultural values and workforce demographics.
The U.S. economy still has a massive labor shortage.
The industry is going to be short of technicians for years into the future.
Entire fields like nursing, teaching, and construction can't find enough workers.
And this is in stark contrast to the white-collar recession. Blue-collar professions cannot seem to find enough people that want to come and join that work and do the jobs necessary to keep our economy running and to keep our comfort the way it is, to have these homes built that we live in, to have consistent lighting and water flowing and clean water in our sewer systems, and all these things that a lot of times we don't even think about. We forget that there's people involved that keep these things functioning so we can live a comfortable life.
Well said.
We have a huge shortage in those areas, whereas white collars, we have a recession and people are looking for that work and they can't find it because companies are hiring for those positions. Let's hop into this video and let's listen to what this lady has to say, because I think it's very important. Because when we hear people say, I'm looking for a job, I can't find a job, I put in so many applications and it's a struggle, what are they really talking about?
Unemployed people. Come to the front of the congregation. I have to ask you, why y'all don't be telling us what industries y'all in? Like when you say, oh my God, I filled out over 1,000 applications and I haven't heard back. Or, oh, I've been ghosted 6 times. Or, oh, I got an offer letter and then they get... What industry are y'all talking about? I have to ask for everybody because there is so much staffing shortages in this country that I feel like there's a disconnect. We have a nursing shortage. We have a plumber shortage. We have a policeman shortage. We have a fireman shortage. We have a teacher shortage. We got electricians, plumbers, techs, nurses, doctors. All of these jobs are at drastic hiring shortages. And those are just the industries I'm aware of. I know that there's so many jobs that I can't even wrap my head around. So we all just want to know what job you guys are trying to get. What job is it that you're applying for that you have to apply 1,000 times and nobody's answering you? I need to know the industry. There's a recession coming. Tell us.
There needs to be more context added to the conversation, because I'm sure you've all seen, like I have, on TikTok, on different social media platforms, in the news and major media outlets, that there is a recession looming.
We think we've been in a rolling recession and that we are actually going to see some negative quarters here.
There's always an unconditional possibility of a recession.
The warning from economists about a pending recession. Alexis Christophers joins us now with how it could affect you and what you can be doing to prepare.
Are you expecting a recession this year?
I hate to predict things like that. There is a period of transition because what we're doing is very big. We're bringing wealth back to America. That's a big thing. And there are always periods of, it takes a little time. But I think it should be great for us. I think it should be great.
And that no one can find jobs and there's layoffs happening all over the place. But what people are failing to realize is that a lot of these layoffs are happening at these big companies, these Fortune 500 companies. And a lot of them are happening in white collar professions. That's why they're saying there's a white collar recession. But again, what about these positions that are experiencing shortages? People are no longer going to those positions because they're not seen as being as prestigious as others. We're not talking about that as much. And that's very important that we do, and very important that we try to drive people towards those directions. And a lot of these are really respectable fields: plumbing, electrician, construction, healthcare, doctors, nurses, physical therapists, all these different professions which she mentioned, all technicians of all kinds. And a lot of them are high paying as well, but people just see the white collar as being, the epitome of success. And so I wanted to bring this up because I think it's a very good thing to discuss. Let me know what you think in the comment section as well about the distinction between all these people looking for these positions and all these positions needing to be filled, and that disconnect she's bringing up. Not to mention too, we have something about retail. If I'm walking down the street, I'm going to fill my gas up, I see signs on doors all over the place, at restaurants, at gas stations, hair salons, you name it, looking to hire hiring now. They can't find people. So it seems as though maybe we're spoiled as Americans and we only want the white collar jobs. I don't know. And this is coming from someone who's worked in white collar for his whole career. I think that we need to encourage more people to join these blue collar professions because they're very, very, very necessary, very, very important, very good paying often, most of them. And I think personally, very respectable.
The U.S. economy still has a massive labor shortage.
The industry is going to be short of technicians for years into the future.
The industry's been facing it for years. Obviously, the pandemic exacerbated the problem.
We really have to think about in these specialty areas, whether it's finance, whether it's tech, whether it's engineering, really doubling down on an apprenticeship program.
I think what people are struck by is the quality, say chemical technicians are now working with PhD chemists and actually being relied upon to do a lot of the laboratory work. That's advanced skill.
Entire fields like nursing, teaching, and construction can't find enough workers. Let's break it down by field. The American Health Association reports 600,000 nurses plan to leave the field by 2027. Data from the National Center for Educational Statistics says the average public school has 2 vacant teaching positions, and that 4% of all public school teaching positions across the country were empty. Even the construction industry will need another 540,000 workers on top of the normal pace of hiring to meet the demand for labor, according to the Associated Builders and Contractors.
We need more people out there banging the drum to encourage students to go into these fields, to go into these technical fields, to go into these fields like laboratory technicians and nursing and what have you. And because we focus so much on the glamorous positions, there aren't as many students looking that direction.
Not very many high school students think about a career in the trades.
There's more students graduating out of college and not actually going into the workforce that they went to college for.
According to Higher Ed Dive, 52% of college graduates with a bachelor's degree end up unemployed a year after getting their diploma related to their degree. Fast forward 10 years later, that number only drops down to 45%.
Probably about a quarter of them are finding their way back into the industry, and they could have found their path a little bit sooner.
So that's one. Another thing they mentioned too that I have seen a lot of, and maybe once I say it, you'll agree. There's a lot of professions, well, I'll say healthcare particularly, where there is now work being done by people who didn't do it before because of the shortage. So I'll give you an example. In healthcare, there's a huge doctor shortage. So what's happening? There's been a lot more advanced nurses now filling the role, or filling the gap rather, that medical doctors used to do. Nurse practitioners, nurse anesthetists, I never say that word correctly. Physician associates, I think they're called now. They used to be called physician's assistants. These people are now filling in the gaps where the shortages occur because doctors are not coming into the field as much. Like they said with the laboratory technician. Now you have laboratory technicians doing stuff that the other higher up laboratory professions were doing before because there's a shortage. And that can be good or bad as long as they're trained properly. And so that's what you're seeing. There has to be some point to where you have to fill that gap. And what else is going to happen, which I know is going to happen, is simple supply and demand. As this gap continues to increase, what's going to happen is there's going to be a low supply of these skilled technicians and laborers to where the demand, or sorry, I just said that demand's going to increase where the supply is low. That means the price, or I shouldn't say the price, the amount of money that these people are going to make is going to increase because you're going to have to pay them more money to attract more people, which we need to happen anyways. Teachers are already underpaid. We need more pay for teachers. Nurses are underpaid. We need more pay for nurses. So it's going to lead to that, which I'm okay with. Not just teachers and nurses, construction workers, technicians, plumbers, all these different types of people. And I know I'm missing a ton. There's list and list. But the point is, as there continues to be a shortage of these professions, you're going to see higher pay for these professions to attract more people to the force. And there's some other things that are being suggested, like bringing people from overseas. And to be fair and to be honest, if we're going to be completely honest, again, apolitical here, a lot of the construction jobs, for example, were filled by people that came from other countries. Just being honest. But again, this is not a political channel. This is just, I'm bringing it back to the money. I'm bringing it back to the numbers. So with that being said, just wanted to highlight here quickly about the blue collar worker shortage that we're experiencing. You know, it seems like the US is in a weird place, but I have faith in the US. I have hope. I have belief in it. And so with that being said, if you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it. Feel free to give it a thumbs up and to subscribe if you feel so too inclined, because it really does help with the algorithm and I greatly appreciate it. And until next time, make smart financial decisions.